So here we are going to provide in, again, few short prompting we will do. We are going to provide some example, and these examples will be written in the form of code. Okay, so let's see. So what are we going to provide? So let's say money, initial. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss 10 prompting style hacks that is going to make your life 100 times easier. Trust me on this, let's dive right in. Since I do not want to waste your time, these are the list of the 10 prompting style hacks that we are going to discuss today. We're going to discuss the definitions of each of them and some prompt examples that will help you to understand each of them in detail. Okay, so let's jump right in. Okay, so first comes generated knowledge prompting. Generated knowledge prompting is a prompt engineering method that first prompts the LLM to generate useful knowledge related to the task and then incorporate the knowledge into the prompt alongside the question or task description. What do I mean by this? Take a look at this. Okay, so what is the prompt that you're trying to give here? What are the rebooking options if my flight from New York to India is cancelled? Okay, so this is the prompt that you're trying to give. But this won't generate very good results if you're using not a very powerful model. So what can you do to make it better? Yeah, so what can you do to make it better? Let's see. So what do you think? You need knowledge here. So this is called the generated knowledge prompting. So you need knowledge here. So what's the knowledge that you will need? So basically you will ask it to retrieve all the current travel restrictions for passengers flying from New York to India and check the availability of the next flights from New York to India, right? So what is going to do here? So you're going to write a prompt along with this question that you're going to send into the LLM. You're going to write a prompt so that the LLM knows that it has been trained on the data, obviously. So it's able to know what to search for in its huge amount of data because it's not so well trained, not so trained for a long time like GPT-4o or like large models that like closed source models, right? How you can improve your open source models. This is the technique here. So you're going to write here, retrieve current UK travel restrictions from New York to India and also check the next availability of flights from New York to India. Got it? So this is called the generated knowledge prompting. So the entire total prompt that we are going to send in is going to be something like write knowledge, this thing, and paste it here, India. And then you're going to pass in the question. It's going to be this question. That's it. So this is going to be the entire prompt that you're going to pass in. Okay, so this takes care of the generated knowledge prompting technique. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one that comes here is tree of thoughts, TOT prompting. What does it mean? So tree of thoughts is basically it will ask the LLM to generate multiple different reasoning paths and self-evaluate the choices to decide the next course of action. And it will also like sort of a DFS graph where you'll be looking ahead or backtracking when necessary to make the global choices. So this is an example, as you can see. So let's see how the prompt will look like. So the prompt will mostly be like, imagine 3 different experts are answering this question and each have their own thought processes, asking the LLM to generate different thought traces and then check at each step whether the prompt that they are whether the answer or whether the response that they're giving is actually correct or not, and whether they need to backtrack or they need to remove one reasoning path because that's wrong. Basically, a tree of thoughts, encouraging the LLM to think in sort of the way humans think, in sort of a network way. So this is an example, as I'll show you, of the prompt. Okay, so let's see. So what will the prompt look like? The prompt is going to look like something like this. So let's say, imagine. You're going to ask the LLM to imagine 3 experts. I'm taking 3, you can take 4, you can take 2, whatever you want, are answering this question. Give it in your system prompt, that's okay. And all experts will write down the steps of their reasoning. And then share it with the group. Try these with your prompt, whatever you're using with GPT or whatever you're using with Claude or whatever, like smaller LLMs as well. Use it. You will see the difference. You will see the difference. It's all about prompt until it isn't. And then you move on to fine tuning, which is covered in another video. Then all experts will go on to the next level, etc., and then decide accordingly. And if any expert realizes that they are wrong, then they leave. Realizes they are wrong, then they leave. And then you add the question. The question is, that's it. Get it? This is the prompt that you're going to use. It's very important. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so now let's move on to the meta prompting technique, which is the fourth one. So it is basically an advanced prompting technique that focuses on the structural and syntactical aspects of the task that you're going to perform. For example, what do you mean by that? So it's sort of like an agent that is going to construct and give responses, and then you are going to give, say whether it's correct or not, or it will realize by its own way based on the prompt that you're giving, and then we'll try to structure them in a different kind of way. So what do I mean by that? So let's see this example, as you can see right here. So the instruction is something, and then the user is performing a task, and then the agent gives a response, and then the user is giving some feedback, and then the agent is responding in a different way. And the user then thinks that he's satisfied, and then this ends it. So this is sort of like an advanced prompting technique. So it's not about the specific contents, it's about the syntactical approach. For example, if we want our LLM to answer in the sort of a JSON format, so and the agent is not answering in the form of a JSON, so that is wrong. So that is what meta prompting does. You're going to tell the LLM again and again until the LLM is able to answer in the form of a JSON, whatever we want. So let's see an example of this. Okay, so see this very carefully. Try to understand it and try to use it as well whenever you're making any kind of app or anything. Okay, let's go ahead. So this is the prompt that I'm going to type in here. Write it yourself as well and see if you understand it. So assistant just had these interactions with the user. So assistant followed this kind of instructions, and then give your system instructions here, whatever it is. And then your job is to critique. See this is system prompt of the new thing. Your job is to critique the assistant's performance, and then revise the instructions so that the assistant is able to get to the correct answer faster and correctly. And then revise the instructions so that the assistant would quickly and correctly respond in the future. Now just provide the history here. Exactly. Whatever the history of instructions and the messages that you have had in the past, just put it here. And then please reflect. Ask the LLM to reflect on these interactions. And then you should first critique the assistant's performance. What could the assistants have done better? Exactly. What could the assistants have done better? What should the assistants remember about this user? And the other things that the user always wants. So indicate this in the form of critique and then ... Exactly. That's it. And then just basically ask it to revise the instructions. You should revise the instructions and curate a new set of instructions. That's it. And curate a new set of instructions that we will put in next time so that the assistant is able to answer faster and correctly. That's it. And then use this instruction next time when you are doing the same conversation, and you will see the difference. This is amazing. This is something which is called the meta prompt, that you're asking the LLM to generate the prompt that will make the LLM better. That's it. Okay, now the next one that comes is the prompt chaining. So prompt chaining is a technique that uses a series of prompts to guide a large language model to produce a desired output. So what do I mean by this? For example, what we are going to do is basically give it a prompt, ask it to generate, for example, say, talk about what are the different codes that are used in this prompt. Then it generates a series of codes. Then you ask the LLM in the next question, follow-up question, which code actually references Shakespeare, or which code actually references a certain event, and then talk about that event based on the code. See, the prompt is being changed. So you're not asking the LLM to generate directly the last thing. You're asking to generate a series of prompts so that the model is able to understand where we are going, which information you're using, and it's able to do a great job. This is mostly used for smaller LLMs, I'm again repeating, or some older versions of GPT, maybe GPT-2, GPT 3.5, whichever the free versions, open source versions, use them. You will see the difference. They will perform exactly same as the large language models, which are the closed source ones. Okay, so let's see a prompt example of this thing. Chalo, let's see. So one prompt example would be, let's see, you are a helpful assistant. This is always important to add. Next thing is your task is to help answer a question given in a document. I'm giving an example. See this document. So first step is to generate all the codes that are relevant to the question in the document, right? So instead of just directly telling it to extract all the important information about a particular event from all the codes that are from the question in the document, it's going to confuse the LLM, definitely. So the big LLMs actually do this breakdown inside them, but the smaller LLMs don't do that. So that is why there's a difference in the benchmarks between all these models. So do what I say, add this, and then do prompt chaining. Prompt chaining is an excellent technique I have used so many times. You can guarantee it works all the time. And then ask it to generate a particular format. Please output the list of codes inside quotes and then slash quotes. That's it. And then this is going to generate the codes, for example, however we want it. And then in the next prompt, then based on these codes, generate information about a particular event that happened and base your answer on these codes only. About, I don't know, about Shakespeare, let's say. Or something like that, based on the document. I'm assuming it's a Shakespeare novel. You can do whatever you want, but I'm just saying. Got it? So these are the two prompts that you're going to do. First, let it answer this, and then based on that, do this in the follow-up question. Use it in ChatGPT, free version. Use it in any kind of open source models. That's it. And then ask it to generate a particular format. Please output the list of quotes inside quotes and then slash quotes. That's it. And then this is going to generate the quotes, for example, however we want it. And then in the next prompt, then based on these quotes, generate information about a particular event that happened and base your answer on these quotes only. About, I don't know, about Shakespeare, let's say. Or something like that, based on the document. I'm assuming it's a Shakespeare novel. You can do whatever you want, but I'm just saying. Got it? So these are the two prompts that you're going to do. First, let it answer this, and then based on that, do this in the follow-up question. Use it in ChatGPT, free version. Use it in any kind of open source models. That's it. Okay, next thing comes is the zero-shot prompting. So zero-shot prompting means that the prompt that is used to interact with the model won't contain any kind of examples or demonstrations. So zero-shot prompting is a technique when you don't want the prompt to be large, you don't want to add any additional examples, you directly are relying on the model's ability to understand the question and give the output however you want it, based on solely the instructions, nothing else. So when do we use that? So basically after you have fine-tuned the model, the model knows what is the kind of prompt that is going to come in and what is the kind of answer we want, because we have already done the fine-tuning. So in that case, use the zero-shot prompt. Also, another example is that based on the cost. So for example, if you're using the paid API, And then the tokens, the input tokens and the output tokens matter a lot. They matter, the cost matters, and everything matters from there. So in that case, zero-shot prompting helps because these models are capable enough to do everything that you're wanting to do, and it doesn't really matter what prompt you're giving it. So that is why it's very important to use the zero-shot prompting in this case if you don't want the cost to shoot up. And you know that the model is able to answer everything. So these are the two cases you're going to use it. Otherwise, always give examples if you want your model to answer and you've not done the fine-tuning. So let's see an example. So an example of this would be simple, very simple. This is probably the simplest prompt style technique that you have given. Classify the text based on text into positive sentiment, positive, negative, or neutral sentiment. That's it. And the question is going to be, I am happy to read this book. So it's a book review. And then the output would be definitely, this is the output. You don't need to give this. This is the output that the assistant will give. So this will be able to understand it's positive. And this is like a zero-shot prompting, probably the easiest. Should have kept it in the first, but it's okay. This is fine. If you've come this far, this is great because you've already learned many of the techniques. Now it becomes more interesting. I would encourage you to watch it till the end. The next one that is going to be is the few-shot prompting. The few-shot prompting means, you can understand from the definition, zero-shot means no example, few-shot means a few examples. So you're going to provide demonstrations in the prompt to steer the model to better performance and exactly how we want the output to be and what we want the output to be. So let's see an example. So this is going to be an example of few-shot prompting. So let's see. So now we are going to ask it the same thing. Let's see the same thing. I'm going to copy paste. This is the question, but we're going to provide it some examples. And then, yeah, let's see. For example, let's see. Let's give the examples. For example, this book is amazing. And the output would be positive. Let's give it 1. Let's give it 2. This book is not so good. In that case, the output would be negative. And let's give another example. Give an example of all the cases that you're trying this model to cover. So then it'll understand everything is okay. And then the output would be neutral. That's it. And in this case, it's able to get a greater idea of what you actually want. And then now provide the question here. Yeah, just provide the question here, whatever question you want, and it will be able to answer even better. Let's say I'm wanting this question. That's it. It will be able to perform even better. Okay, so this covers few-shot prompting. We're almost done. We are halfway, more than halfway there. Okay, so now that what comes is even more important and even more interesting. Chain of thought prompting. So this one will significantly increase your model's performance by a huge benchmark. But why don't most models do this? Because it takes up a lot of output tokens, a lot of input tokens, and it takes up a lot of time, a lot of speed, and everything. But the performance will definitely improve. So an example I would like to say, like, for example, when I was working in my company, we actually discovered that this chain of thought prompting improved our results so much. So this was actually a turning point in my project that I was working on. Okay, so let's see. This is a very common technique that you can use too. So chain of thought prompting enables complex reasoning capabilities through intermediate reasoning steps. So what do I mean by that? You can ask it, you can give it some examples and then ask it that you require reasoning before responding. I'm guaranteeing. And even if you do a little bit of fine tuning with this chain of thought prompting, then you will see the results. I'll give an example very soon. Okay, so let's see an example of this. This is so important. I'm going to give an example of comparison. Like, one is a standard prompting technique that you will use and you will see the result. And another one is a chain of thought prompting that you will see. Okay, so let's see. So a standard prompting would be, let's say, Roger has 5 balls. He buys 2 more cans of 3 balls each. How many total does he have? Again, I'm saying do not test it out on big LLMs, closed source LLMs, because they will definitely know how to answer this. These are very simple questions. Try it out on smaller models. For example, Llama 3HB or Phi2. Try it out on these. Okay, so I would say check out this video, build a YouTube summarizer using LLM. And here I've shown you how you can download the models in Google Colab and how you can run these models and run inference on these models and then try out with these examples that I'm giving. How many balls in total does he have? Okay, so this is one example that it will be able to answer. It will be giving normal. The answer is it will say 5 plus 6 is 11. So it will say 11 is the answer. No reasoning, nothing. And then now if you're going to do something like this, yeah. Now if you're going to ask it, the cafe has 12 apples. If they used 8 to make lunch and 3 for students, how many does it have left? How many are left? If you ask the model to answer this, it will not be able to answer because it has no sense of how we are going to give an answer, what is the thought process, how they are going to do it. No sense of this from this example. It is really nothing. It's just this and then this. So you know how the models learn, right? How they predict. They predict the next token. So after this question has come in, it has no understanding of what is going on. It just knows the answer is relevant. So then if they see this one, which is completely different and it doesn't know how to reason, obviously it will give wrong answer. Now comes the chain of thought. So what you're going to do is, let's take this. Now, this what I stored here is the standard prompting. Now what we are going to do is the chain of thought prompting. So what is going to do here? This you are going to not give the answer here like this. You're going to give it in few short prompting. Like this is a few short prompting. You're giving an example and then asking the model to answer a question. So here in the answer, you're going to ask it to reason how. So this will be Roger started with 5 balls, 2 cans. You can give however reasoning you want. That's okay. 2 cans of 3 tennis balls make 6 balls total. So in total, he has 5 plus 6 equal to 11 balls. That's it. Reasoning. Now this question now knows how to do it. So what is going to be the answer of the assistant here? The assistant response. It's going to be the same way it will do. Yeah, so the cafe had 12 apples and then they're going to say then they used 8 to make lunch. So remaining is going to be 4 and 3 for students. So remaining is 1. That's the answer. So this is how your this is how your chain of thought prompting will help you a lot. Okay, now that this is done, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one that comes here is active prompting. So this is very important technique. Listen carefully. So this is a technique that is used for improving chain of thought prompting. Okay, so chain of thought prompting was what? Let's summarize. It was for reasoning, asking the model to reason before giving an example. And active prompting is a different thing altogether. So it is going to be improving performance by selectively asking human to improve it. So what do I mean by that? So asking human for more information. So this is going to be extremely important in PPT generation, slide generation using GPT, using LLMs, and also for doing deep research. You know that deep research is the new thing that is available in tier 5 of GPT, right? So that is why this is very important. You can do active prompting on your own as well to make a deep research model. I'll make a project on that. Do look out for that. Okay, so what are we going to do here? We are going to ask the human for more information. For example, let's take an example. For example, develop a strategy, marketing strategy for a new drink among the adults, young adults, basically the teenagers. So you're going to ask, what kind of drink are we talking about? Is it protein drink? Is it for gym? Is it for concentration? Is it for more memory? What? And then the user will say, okay, for memory. And then you're going to ask, what kind of information do you want? Do you want a full marketing strategy, PPT generation, everything? Or do you want step-by-step acting techniques, actions, call to actions, whatever? So like this, you're going to ask the user to give more information and generate a better idea of everything that we are going to do. Try out deep research. I'm not going to ask you to try out deep research because it's going to be paid. But if you have it, do try it out. You are going to see the same thing as you're going to see here. Okay, enough talking. Let's do an example. So let's see. Define a marketing strategy to promote a new health drink among young adults. Okay, so now the output is going to be something different. The output is going to be asking humans, asking the user to give more information. So it's going to say, I need some more information. Give an example inside few-shot prompting and ask it to give more information. I need some more information. So what are the unique selling points of this? Unique selling points. So this is called the USP, which is very important for marketing as well. I also did not know about this. This is just a like fun fact. I did not know about this. So basically, for me, unique selling point is basically machine learning, ITLCS. These are all the unique selling points. So this is very important in marketing. What are the unique selling points of the product? Now that this is answered, now the next question would be, okay, so what's the budget of this? What's the budget of this? Okay, you get my point. So this is going to be active prompting. It's going to get the answer. It's going to construct something and it's going to ask again the user whatever it needs and then generate the entire thing together. This is awesome. This is awesome. Try this out. I would encourage you to try it out for any kind of thing. Like, for example, if you want to make a PPT of everything, or if you want to generate something like, I don't know, like sales, Power BI, everything, like anything, any kind of PPT you want to generate for your classes or any kind of, for as a teacher as well, if you want to generate this, it's going to be the same thing. So try it out. Okay, we're almost done. Let's deal with the next one. Okay, so the next thing that comes is program aided language models. So what does it mean? So it uses prompting to generate code to solve the problems and then send the code in to a runtime to get the answer. So what do I mean by this? For example, let's take the same example that we did for Roger. The balls, having the different balls and then selling and then getting more balls, like 2 cans of 3 balls each. So we have total 11. So now we can give it examples to generate a code for that, and the code will give us the answer. So this is supposed to be a foolproof method because code never lies. Remember this, say it with me, code never lies. Okay, so let's see an example of this. Okay, so let's see the code for this. So what it's going to do? Let's see, the example is Olivia has $23 and then she bought 5 bagels with that. Bagels for $3 each. Okay, so how much does she have left? Right, so let's see. So here we are going to provide in, again, few short prompting we'll do. We are going to provide some example and these examples will be written in the form of code. Okay, so let's see. So what are we going to provide? So let's say money initial is going to be 23. Now next thing is going to be bagels equal to 5. And then it's going to be bagels cost is going to be 3. So money spent is going to be bagels multiplied by bagels cost. That's it. And then it's going to be money left. Is going to be money initial minus money spent. That's it. And money left is the answer. So this is how the model knows that it has to generate code to solve the problem, and code never lies. That's it. Just the last one, but remember, last but not the least is going to be reflection. So reflection is a prompting style which is a bit advanced, but try to understand it. You can use it too. So reflective prompts are questions or statements that guide the process of critical reflection and help the students to learn. They can be used to help the students to understand their beliefs and how they create knowledge, or to help them consider the expectations and assumptions during the prompting. So what do I mean by that? So let's say we have an initial prompt, explain the benefits of remote work. Now the AI response provides this, whatever answer. Now you're going to do a follow-up prompting, review your previous response and identify any potential drawbacks or missing considerations. And then it's going to provide an answer. And then again, you are going to give the same thing until and unless you're satisfied with the answer. So it's sort of like asking the model to reflect upon this answer, but the human is asking it to reflect. And it's not like we are giving any kind of, pointers how to reflect. It's going to do it on its own. So this is called reflection. And let's see an example. Okay, so I'll just write the same thing which I wrote just now. Just use any kind of prompt that you have done. So it's okay. You don't need to worry about it. But what you're going to do is, after you've written the prompt, let's say this one only. Olivia has $23. She bought 5 bagels. This, and how much does she have left? Now, after this, you've given the answer. This is the answer that the assistant has given. Let's say that. And now we're going to do is the follow-up prompt. So this is called review your previous response. Write it with me, keep it with your own, and it's going to be so much helpful. Identify any potential drawbacks or missing considerations. Keep it, ask it to do it again and again until you're satisfied with the answer. So there you go. This wraps up all the 10 prompting style techniques that is going to make your life so much easier, so much better. Share it with your friends. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. All the best. We'll see you in the next video.